You've seen this film before. You know the songs, you know the colors, you know exactly how it ends. For millions of people, The Wizard of Oz is a childhood safe place, a movie that was never supposed to hurt anyone. But the land of Oz almost killed the people who made it. One performer collapsed when something meant to look magical filled their lungs. Another was engulfed in flames during a moment audiences would later cheer. A teenage star was chemically controlled to keep the fantasy intact, and dozens more worked inside sealed stages filled with toxic air, so the world on screen could feel bright and harmless. This wasn't bad luck. It was the price of making wonder look effortless. And Hollywood made sure you never saw the bill. Because beneath the music and color, beneath the fantasy meant to comfort an anxious nation, The Wizard of Oz is an American fairy tale that poisoned its own creators. And once you see how, you won't be able to watch it the same way again. The Land of Oz was designed to feel safe, not just cheerful, protective. A place where fear dissolved into music, where danger softened into choreography, where nothing truly bad could last longer than a song. It begins in color so vivid it feels artificial, because it is. Yellow bricks glowing under lights brighter than the sun. Emerald towers shimmering with promise. Ruby shoes catching the camera like something sacred. This brightness was engineered, every hue calibrated, every surface painted to overwhelm the eye. In 1939, Hollywood needed something brighter than reality. America was still clawing its way out of the Great Depression. Europe was tilting toward war. Anxiety followed audiences into theaters, clinging to coats and pockets. For the audience, Oz arrived like anesthesia. Movie palaces were dark, cool, and quiet. Outside, uncertainty waited. Inside, the world behaved. Children saw color for the first time. Adults saw order restored. Everyone saw a promise. That chaos could be choreographed. That fear could be escorted off stage before the lights came up. The Wizard of Oz wasn't just entertainment. It was reassurance. What no one in those seats could see was the heat, the dust, the strain behind the illusion. Oz didn't escape danger. It erased it. Oz did not come from innocence. L. Frank Baum wrote The Wonderful Wizard of Oz in 1900, an era drunk on progress and blind to consequence. Factories expanded faster than laws. New chemicals entered daily life before anyone knew what they did to lungs or skin. Optimism outpaced caution. Baum's story reflects that moment perfectly. A world powered by unseen forces. A journey promising transformation, but only by moving through strange, unstable terrain. By the time MGM adapted the story nearly 40 years later, America had doubled down on the gamble. Bigger machines, stronger pigments, hotter lights, tighter schedules. Oz would not be imagined patiently. It would be manufactured at scale. MGM didn't build a fantasy. They built a sealed environment. Sound stages enclosed vast, artificial landscapes. Painted skies replaced open air. Indoor forests replaced weather. Wind, fire, and fog were simulated mechanically. The air inside those stages never truly moved. Dust settled everywhere, then lifted again. Dust from scenery, dust from paint, dust from powdered metals used to make surfaces glow. Technicolor was the true marvel and the true problem. Early color film demanded intensity. Lights burned hotter and closer than ever before. Makeup had to be thicker. Pigments had to be stronger. Actors stood inches from lights radiating heat for hours. Makeup sealed pores shut. Costumes trapped sweat and air alike. No one could see what they were breathing. No one measured it. No one paused production to ask. The illusion demanded immersion, and immersion meant sealing everyone inside. The Wicked Witch of the West was designed to be unforgettable. Her green skin came from a copper-based makeup, abrasive, toxic, absorbed directly through the pores. Margaret Hamilton endured hours of application under intense lights, day after day. The makeup burned. It irritated her eyes. It dried her skin until it cracked. Then came the accident. During a stunt involving fire and smoke, a timing error ignited her costume. Flames climbed her face. Her hands caught fire. She was rushed to the hospital with second- and third-degree burns. Production stopped. Briefly. When Hamilton returned weeks later, she refused to work near fire again. That boundary was noted. The schedule resumed. Oz still needed its villain. Buddy Ebsen was the original Tin Man. To achieve a metallic effect, MGM coated him in aluminum powder, a substance that shimmered beautifully under lights and devastated lungs when inhaled. At first it was irritation, then coughing, then exhaustion that sleep didn't fix. Eventually, he collapsed. Doctors discovered aluminum lodged deep in his lungs. He was hospitalized, struggling to breathe. Ebsen was removed quietly. Another actor replaced him using a different, still hazardous, paste. The transition was clean. The role survived. The cost did not. Bert Lahr's lion costume was made from real lion pelts. It was heavy, unventilated, relentless. Under studio lights, heat built with nowhere to escape. Sweat soaked the fur. Air thinned inside the suit. Lahr reportedly collapsed from exhaustion more than once. On screen, the lion is allowed fear, allowed vulnerability, allowed to admit he is overwhelmed. Behind the scenes, none of that was permitted. And the lion was not alone. Even the background suffered for the illusion. The snow that fell during the poppy field scene wasn't snow at all. It was asbestos. Chosen because it looked right on camera, because it drifted convincingly through the air. At the time, asbestos was considered harmless, another miracle material, another invisible risk. Munchkin actors, many with little power, worked long hours under the same sealed conditions: heat, dust, toxic air. Their names rarely appear in the story of Oz, but their bodies were just as present. Judy Garland was 16. Hollywood did not see a child. It saw a problem to manage. She was given stimulants to work longer hours, sedatives to sleep on command, diet restrictions to maintain a body that looked young enough. Her exhaustion was not a warning sign. It was a scheduling issue. On screen, Dorothy longs for home, a place of safety and belonging. Off-screen, Judy learned that safety did not exist inside the studio system. The role made her eternal. It also locked her into a cycle of chemical control that followed her for the rest of her life. None of this surprised MGM. Medical reports existed, injuries were documented, hospitalizations were recorded. But Oz was too expensive to slow down. Contracts shielded the studio. Publicists shaped the narrative. Damage was absorbed quietly. The illusion mattered more than the people maintaining it. Hollywood in the 1930s was not built for resistance. Actors were replaceable, crew members invisible. Studios controlled careers, reputations, and futures. Speaking out meant becoming difficult, and difficult meant finished. So silence became survival. The story that endured was not about danger, it was about magic. What survives in memory is never the process. It's the finished artifact, the cleaned version, the song remembered without the rehearsal, the smile without the strain behind it. As decades passed, memory softened. Injuries became anecdotes. Hospitalizations became trivia. Responsibility dissolved into rumor. The real harm, documented, structural, undeniable, was buried beneath nostalgia. Oz became sacred. a shared childhood artifact. A film remembered not for what it took, but for how it made people feel. The yellow brick road grew cleaner with every generation. The Wizard of Oz does not feel haunted because of secret symbols or hidden messages. It feels haunted because it tells the truth accidentally. It shows what happens when wonder is built faster than care, when fantasy demands bodies but refuses accountability, when beauty is prioritized over safety. Oz survived. Not everyone who made it did. There is another children's story like this, another bright fantasy shaped by risk, another world that looks harmless until you trace what went into creating it. Next time, we follow a girl who doesn't walk a road. She falls. Alice in Wonderland. And once again, the question won't be whether the story is strange, it will be why the strangeness was necessary.